I've reviewed a lot of tents on this channel. All of them have their share of unique characteristics. We've reviewed the lightest tents ever made, like this Carbon Reflux, ones geared towards 4-season hot tenting like the Nortent Gamme 6 or the Lavo series. We've also reviewed low-profile summer tents and even heavy-duty 4-season hunting tents. Today we're going to review a tent that is military grade and built to keep you warm on the worst nights winter can throw at you. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so we're heading out to the bush today. It's -6. It's a little bit stormy, light blizzard, light snowfall type stuff. We're going to be testing out a white duck tent. Yesterday when I set this tent up, the first thing I realized is how much more cozy it was than the Nortent. That thick canvas is far better at retaining heat, so we're gonna have no problem staying warm today. This is the Regatta 10. This retails for anywhere between $500 to $800. It uses a Dynaduck patented fabric with an 8.5 ounce Army Duck cotton canvas, which has water repellency, mold and UV resistant finish. It has double stitch seams with reinforced corners for added strength. It has galvanized steel poles for durability and maximum resistance even in the harshest of weather. It has a pre-installed heat-resistant silicone-coated stove jack with a 5-inch pre-cut pattern that you can customize to fit your needs. And it also has some good no-seam bug mesh that is also visible and durable. This is the tent. It's probably a good 50 pounds or so, maybe a little bit less, probably about 40. We're gonna take it out, see what we got. Just throw back there. And then we got our 2 poles, which are very heavy. So these are big steel poles. Then we have all of our hooks. We have a couple screw-in hooks. They even give us a mallet, which I think is kind of ridiculous. You may want to consider not carrying this out, but it's up to you. You can use a mallet or you can use a log. So this is what we have here. So we have those big hooks. And then we have these littler hooks. All right guys, so we got the white duck tent all nice and set up, and boy, it's pretty cozy, I must say. I'm just gonna dust the floor off. That's what I love about these mitts. Somebody's like, in one of my videos, they're like, yeah, but goose down mitts are warmer than those. And I'm like, no, they're not. You don't know what you're talking about. And they're not nearly as durable. Like, you can't, like, this has so many uses. You could use it as a pillow at night. You can put your knees on it if you have to do some work on the ground. I mean, these things are just indispensable. One of the main benefits of this style of tent, something that you're gonna notice immediately, if you spent a lot of time in those sil nylon tents, is that the air can almost cut right through them. Not necessarily the wind, but they have a very low R value. The first thing I noticed going into this tent, even when the Woodstove wasn't in there, is that the level of insulation is a lot more with this thicker canvas material. Yes, you're carrying a lot more weight, but once you get into your tent, it's going to be a lot more cozy. There's going to be a higher heat retention value. It's just going to be a more comfortable experience once you're all set up. There's all of these guy lines that are coming out here. You can just guy out right to the ground. They provide you with an ample amount of very large, heavy-duty tent pegs. So a lot of their tents are way bigger than this. This is literally one of the smallest tents they have. One of the things I don't like with this tent is that there is this metal pole in the middle, which is kind of old school. It can be kind of an impediment to getting into the tent. With the tent that's one step up from this, it has a full door. So if you're a person who's under 6 feet, you can actually walk straight into that one without having to duck down. But again, this is one of their smaller tents, so that's understandable. I must say, it's looking pretty cozy in there. And one of the benefits, and look at this guy, Canadian Prepper Junior over here. You don't really want to be a YouTuber. You got to be a doctor or a scientist or something, even a lawyer. Don't be a YouTuber, bro. At least not make it your first profession. So we did have a light snow last night and the tent was full of snow. It stood up very well to that. I don't doubt that the durability is there to hold a lot of weight by virtue of the fact that there's all these guy out points and it's tied down and there's a very strong, sturdy 1-inch metal pole that goes from the bottom right to the top. They say it's water repellent, not waterproof. So it's not a waterproof tent. In winter, you're not really concerned about waterproof, depending on where you live. As you can see, there's this really heavy duty stove jack here. And this is one of the more heavy duty stove jacks I've seen. And you can actually custom fit it to your pipe. So all I did is I cross slid it, and that allows you to have that variable cut in there that you can use either a 2-inch or a 2.5-inch or a 3.5-inch pipe. This is a 3.5-inch pipe from a winter well stove. It's got these tie-off buttons here and you can roll that back, and this is Velcro. So if you're not using the stove jack, there's some rigid ventilation flaps up top. So that's always good in case you're worried about carbon monoxide buildup. So you can see here, there's these variable guy out lines. So all you have to do to tighten it is pull it like that. Now, as you can see on the bottom here, there's windows. There is no windows up top. There's only windows on the bottom. The one thing you might not like about this tent, at least this color anyways, is that the sun doesn't get through it. It means that the tent's gonna be moderately dark throughout the whole day. Unless you open all of these windows, even then you're not getting a whole lot of light in there, just because this is a very dark material. The actual weight of the tent is around 40 pounds when packed up. It's all self-contained. The floor of this tent is built right into the tent. It's just a very thick tarp. It's all one piece. All right, so I'm inside the tent. It's midday. It's a little overcast, so we don't have full sun, but it's fairly dark. I mean, we have the doors open, and in terms of the warmth, I mean, this place is already warm with the door open, which is something you don't get with a sill nylon tent. If you have the door open on like a Nor tent, you've lost all your heat within seconds. Whereas this, you can really tell the canvas really retains that heat. Like, it actually feels a lot warmer. This is probably the smallest I would go for a tent nowadays, just because when you get out here and you got a lot of gear, you don't want to be tripping over stuff. You're going to want to, you know, bring your furniture, your chairs, your air mattress, things of that nature. So I wouldn't go any smaller than this. If you are looking for something ultralight, go with a Nortent Gamme 6. Now, as you can see here, there's just one, what looks to be like 1.5 inch long steel pole that goes from the bottom to the top. And there's this cool hook on it, which is perfect for the bug out roll. I love that aspect of it, because a lot of these style of tents, the pole can't support something like this, but this is a really heavy duty pole, and it can support the weight of the bug out roll no problem. So I have my portable closet here, and I don't have this thing fully loaded out, but if I did, it would be absolutely perfect. So we got our crank radio. You got to do this for a few minutes, but if it was an emergency, you'd have time. This is a Baofeng radio, so that's ham radio. Communicate long distances, survival shovel, glow in the dark signal device, Right in the Rain notebook, some good old Mountain House, some first aid stuff, tourniquet, bandages, stuff like that. What do we got in here? Life straw, bear flare. So if a bear comes at you, you get the bang, you get the light, and you get the heat. This is very, very hot. You get some nice mesh pockets here, some really heavy duty, big mesh pockets. that can carry a lot of stuff, and you get those on either side of the tent. Everything here is double stitched. I can attest to the quality of this tent. That's one of the first things I noticed. So you're getting durability, you're getting better warmth, you're losing on weight and ease of setup. So take your pick. There's an old saying, you can select two of the following three things: lightweight, durable, and cheap. So this is durable, but it's not lightweight and it's not cheap. Okay, this is a Winterwell Woodlander stove. It's a nice fit for these kind of tents because it has the legs which go up about 10 inches. So you can put some wood underneath to kind of preheat your wood if it's wet. And you can see the stitching on this stove jack up here. It's very high quality stitching. You can tell that it wasn't made by a machine because there's some minor imperfections in it, but it's like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of stitching just around here. Really, really durable. All right, guys. Well, I must say that I'm quite satisfied with this tent. I think for the money that you pay for it, you're definitely getting a very good deal. Is it a lightweight, packable, easy to set up? No, it's more of a person who is planning on spending an ample amount of time in the woods, who has the means to carry a lot of weight. In terms of the actual shape of it, I think it's sufficient for short term. For longer term, you might want one of the wall tents because you're going to be able to stand up and walk around. This is perfectly fine if you're going to be just sitting down periodically, if you're going to have a sleeping mat in here. It doesn't need to be that high, and there is just enough space to walk around just a little bit. It's got really heavy duty YKK zippers, which is a testament to the quality. I don't think I'll ever use a tent like this in summertime. There just isn't a lot of point to it. You don't need a warm tent like this in the summer. You want something that is going to be lightweight and packable. If you're interested in something like this, go and check out CanadianPreparedness.com. You get 10% off and free shipping on this tent, so you can't go wrong. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Do you prefer the lightweight sil nylon tents, silicone infused nylon, or do you prefer the old school heavy duty ruggedized military style tents like this? Let me know, guys. Thanks for watching Canadian Prepper.
The best way to support this channel is to support yourself by gearing up at CanadianPreparedness.com, where you'll find high-quality survival gear at the best prices, no junk, and no gimmicks. Use discount code PREPPINGGEAR for 10% off. Don't forget, the strong survive, but the prepared thrive. Stay safe.